Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stuart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, this is Stuart Andrew Alexander, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Tom Lawrence. Now, Tom dedicates a lot of his spare time to help small business owners throughout the Yorkshire, UK region to grow networks of contacts beyond their own industries. So with that said, let's jump in and get started right away.
Okay, Tom. A lot of people think it's not important to network with other businesses outside of their industry. So what are your thoughts on this perception?
I think it's a mistake. One doesn't know what opportunities are out there if you're so close that you don't see outside your industry. There could be people that are not in your industry who you could be working with to help grow your business. Mm-hmm. There could be people outside of your industry that can help you to do your job better. So there's all sorts of other options other than just looking at your own industry. That's not necessarily the way to go forward. It helps to broaden your horizons, helps to broaden your scope.
Okay, excellent. So my next question is about people who are thinking of joining networking groups. Is it really possible for them to cultivate relationships outside of the group? And if no, why not? And if yes, how would they actually go about doing that?
Networking is, I always say to people, it's net space working. And you've got to work at the network that you're in, whichever that is. If you just go to a group and you leave it at that, then the chances is it may help your business, but it's not going to help it to grow. I think it's important that you network outside of the group because it helps to build the relationship with the person that you've met originally. So you meet somebody, there's a bit of rapport, you get on with them quite well. Why not give them a coffee? I'm passing, fancy a coffee, either meet them for a coffee or call at their work, have a coffee with them, take some biscuits, and if you can, take them a lead or something to help them with their business as well. So it's all about helping to grow their business, and in return they'll help you.
Well, that's quite interesting, Tom, because I remember when I started networking, my initial thoughts was just to network or seek out people who were in my own industry and to think that I would be able to learn from them. Is that something what a lot of newbie networkers fall into?
Yeah, they fall into that trap, and they fall into the sales trap. They're there to sell their business. They're not there to build a network of people and to help others. But, it's all, in the same industry, there's, you're in a little niche where everybody knows everybody else or knows what they're on about. But if you go outside of that, then people are able to, you don't know what Ted's brother does. You don't know what Sonia's sister does. You don't know, and you don't know what the people in that room and who they're related to and what have you. So if you dismiss them, you're dismissing an awful lot of people that could be beneficial to your business, and it's very important not to just see people with pound signs over their heads or that's the business I want to be in, that's what I've got to talk to. You've got to be a lot more general because otherwise you're missing things as you go along.
Okay, that's a really good answer, that. So if I'm thinking about this now, could you possibly use examples from totally unrelated industries and apply them to your own industry?
Yeah, I mean, there's learning to be had. I think When I joined 4N, I'd been in business about 18 or 19 years. And I've learned an awful lot from other people, tips to help me with my business and help me to grow my business. And I'm constantly learning from other people, and they're not always or very seldom in the same industry. And those tips can be anything from picking up hints on SEO or how to blog better, and all this sort of stuff that's all key to marketing your business, and you're learning from people all the time.
Excellent. So there's definitely scope there for crossover in between
unrelated. Absolutely. Excellent. Absolutely. I'll give you an example that I went to for another example of dismissing people. I went to a 4N meeting, and there was a multi-level marketer there that I just wasn't interested in at all. And it wasn't until a couple of years later when I heard in Foresight he had 3 million pound plus turnover companies that he owned. This MLM business was just a hobby to him that he was taking to the network to grow this side of it. I could have been selling office supplies to all these other 3 companies, and I'd blown it because I just saw him for his face value, because I didn't take the time to get to know him.
So the lesson is, don't judge the book by the cover.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that, Thomas. I'm sure the readers and listeners are going to be really interested in hearing that point. So, in spite of somebody being new to a business networking group, how can they still be able to make strong connections with long-standing members of that group?
You've got to take time. The long-standing members have seen it all before. And can be a little bit dismissive, I suppose is the right word, in that they don't know who you are or what you're about or anything about you. So take the time to go and have a coffee with them, and if possible, find them a contact or a lead or a possible supplier that they could use that could be useful to them. And when you go for a coffee, as well as taking the biscuits, which is always a good thing to do, take them this contact, because it may help their business. And when they say thank you very much, you just say, well, it's just what you do for me, and it creates a bit of reciprocal. It lifts you up a peg with the members, and he will tell others that you're actually a good egg and that you're bringing business into the network.
Excellent. That sounds really, for someone who's starting off new, that's some really good advice there, especially with the part where you touched on that senior members may be a little bit standoffish. I think it's kind of akin to, it may be a bit of a silly example, but going out on a date for the first time, you don't ask to marry the opposite, whether you're a guy,
absolutely, no, you're spot on. Yeah. You're not even hoping to sleep with her that night. It's you just.
I didn't want to take it there, Tom. I did not want to take it there.
you just seeing how it goes and seeing how you get on. And networking's identical. You wouldn't go into a pub and try to sell, would you? Exactly. You wouldn't go into a pub and try and sell your stuff to the guys in the pub. So why do it at a network meeting? Just because it's business, you just don't do it. It's about getting to know people and building those relationships. And then you create conditions where people then come to you to start to buy stuff,
That's excellent. That's really good advice. So with reference to the person, or to the previous question of a person joining a new group and being able to make strong connections with more senior members, what kind of personality traits does that person need to be able to do that?
I think the biggest trait is about being yourself, really. if you've been involved in corporate, you have this suit and briefcase and you go along with the way everybody else is, and you try to be perhaps somebody that you're not because that's what's accepted. It's about being yourself and being open and honest with people. And then they'll be open and honest with you. You know, if you come along and you're something that you're not, people see through it. They're not stupid. They see through it. They see what you're trying to do, and it's just all wrong. You know, just be who you are. If you're just starting out in business, you just say, "I'm starting out in business. This is what I'm doing," and be, you know, just lay your cards on the table. Don't be trying to say, "Oh, I'm this and I'm that and I'm Mr. Big and what have you," because folk just see right through it. So I think that's the biggest thing is just, you know, and treat people with respect. However they are.
So I guess if you're new, that can actually work to your advantage, because the more experienced business owner is more likely to appreciate the fact that you're new and able to relate to the fact that you're new and remember, you know, think back to the times when they were starting out.
Absolutely, Stuart. Absolutely, yeah. It's all about just
okay.
Yeah, and you know, folk are, if you ask for help, people will generally give you that help. Where if you're trying to pretend you're something you're not, then they're just going to put down shutters and just don't want to know you.
Excellent. Okay, so what's the worst thing that someone could say when meeting people at a networking meeting for the first time? And how can that affect the chances of becoming a successful networker?
Buy my stuff, you know. It's a guy that, do you want a quote? Or, you know, they're there, they're out there in the network. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It's you know, there's nothing more off-putting to anybody than being sold to or sold at. And it's about building relationships. It comes back to what I said about going into the pub. You wouldn't walk into the pub and say, "Buy my stuff." Why do it there? Get to know people. Find out if there's a real need. An example I had just last week was from another network, not 4N. This woman saw my details and sent me a message to say it'd be great if we could have a coffee and get to know each other. Well, that's awesome. That's a good start. And then proceeded to sell to me in the message. Well, sorry, I don't have a need for her stuff. Why have, you know, a full A4 page of selling me when I can't even use her services?
Yeah, that must be, I can imagine that's quite annoying, because it's really a lack of respect, really, at the end of the day, when you just try and sell outright. It's maybe not even a lack of respect. It's maybe just a naivety and their enthusiasm coming through for what they do. And just chill, just back off, just get to know people and let them come to you. You know. Yeah, I see. It takes a certain amount of discipline to do that. Cause I think
of course it does. Yeah. Because you're spending money going to a network. You're wanting to see a return on that money, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's about building relationships, and gradually that will start to pay off. It just takes time, though.
Okay, Tom, there are some networking organizations out there where you have the opportunity to sit down and have a one-to-one conversation with somebody for a period of time. Now, this can be a nerve-wracking experience, especially for somebody new. So how can somebody actually sit down, do a one-to-one, and still walk away and, you know, looking and feeling like they're a professional networker?
There's a very good book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
That talks and gives you lots of help to be able to converse with somebody. And that's what you have in a conversation. And in asking, the best people at conversations are those that ask questions. So questions are always great. So if you're new to networking and you're feeling very nervous and you're in a one-to-one situation, just ask loads of questions of the person who you're speaking to. Don't tell them anything about your business. Perhaps if they ask you, you could answer the question, but keep just asking them questions all the time, and you'll find that they respond, and you'll get a really good conversation from that just by asking questions.
Excellent. That's really good advice. So what are some other things that are supposed to get you lots of new clients from networking meetings, but upon reflection can actually hurt your chances of success?
Oh, that's a really good question. And, it sort of comes back to the don't selling. You go to network and you think that you've got to sell yourself, you've got to sell everything. And yeah, there's opportunities to say what it is you do, either in a 40 or a 60 seconds or whatever it is. That's fine. But then stop at that. Don't become a bore. I know a guy who was in the network who used to, every visitor that come in, he pounced on them. Oh, I'll do you a quote, I'll do you a quote, I'll do you a quote. And he just was a pain in the arse. And all it does is just people then back off. So it comes back to this selling. I think that's the biggest thing, that you go along to a networking meeting thinking you're going to be selling. Don't sell. Be yourself.
That's some really sound advice that I think you touched on it before about not selling in the room, basically just trying to get to know people through the room, right?
Yeah, and then they'll think you're a really nice person, and you go and have a coffee with them and they'll get to know you a bit more, and you build the relationship. And then, people buy from people. They don't buy off other businesses. They don't buy off, it's about the person. And if you get on well with somebody and you've made an effort to get on well with somebody and perhaps to help them, they will reciprocate.
Okay. So, Tom, shifting the attention towards you personally a little, can you just describe your current position and what led you to actually doing the job that you're doing right now?
You mean my position within 4N?
Whichever one you choose to speak about.
Well, I have my own business, which is an office supplies business called TLC, and I'm also regional leader for 4 networking, covering more or less most of Yorkshire. What led me TLC? I had made a career move that went wrong. One Monday morning, having been on holiday, I just threw the car keys at the boss, walked out, and had quite a peaceful journey home on the bus until I got home, Then Sandra, my wife, sort of broke the peace, shall we say. However, I had a really good friend who said, if you can do it for them, you can do it for themselves. I've got a spare office, get on with it. And that really was the start of it. That was 1990. Right. And so it's gone on. How I got into 4N, had been in BNI, had left BNI, was looking for something else to do, and saw an advert for 4N. They weren't in Yorkshire. They were ready to come into Yorkshire. And Terry Cooper, one of the directors there, said to me, if you want it in Yorkshire, we're ready to support you. Get on with it. So we launched one group in Yorkshire, then a second, and so it just grew, and there's now 30 odd groups in Yorkshire now.
Okay. All right. So just to wrap this up, Tom, what is the one thing that someone must consider to successfully grow their network of business contacts?
don't put a pound sign on anybody's head. Treat everybody the same, with respect. Don't put anybody down. Don't put anybody on a pedestal. Just treat them all the same, with the same amount of respect and the same way. That way you won't appear to be hunting for pound signs, and you won't be disrespecting anybody along the way, because you just don't know anything about that person and who their contacts are. The guy who lays the carpets that's in the network, whilst he might not appear to be the contact that you want, his girlfriend or partner could be the person that you want to be seeing, and you just don't know that. It could be the best contact you've ever had, but you don't know unless you treat people the same.
Excellent. And finally, Tom, if anybody who's listening wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best ways, and how would they find you, and where would they find you?
Where would they find me? tlcsupplies.co.uk, and there's quite a lot. There's phone numbers and email addresses on there, so they can get in touch through that. That's probably the best way. So
okay.
TLC Supplies, all one word, .co.uk.
Excellent. And you sure there's anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think that's it. I hope that people get out there and network. There's millions of businesses who aren't networking and should be, and it would be a great shame if they didn't go and test it out and see and get outside their comfort zone, because it's important to grow, and the network can help you to grow, not as a business but as a person, and that's an important aspect that you get from networking as well.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.